It is now official after Andy Dalton had a bruised bone in his knee in this game this past weekend where it looked like his leg hyperextended for a minute and two parts of the bone hit each other that don't normally hit each other because there's normally shit in between them. But if you hyperextend a little bit, this does happen. It is incredibly painful. He tried to go back onto the field, tried to do his thing. He wasn't able to move much because, once again, it is incredibly painful. Justin Fields came in. They win. He looks good in a couple plays. And now the Fields mania is at an all-time high. Justin Fields is now officially the starter for the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
I don't know if the original plan was for week 3 for Justin Fields to go in. Week 4 was the original plan for Justin Fields to go in.
Yeah, against the Lions.
Are we just assuming that, or did
that was what the front office said? There's week 4 was the idea to start him.
Zito, diehard Chicago Bear fan, said that the front office has come out and said that, hey, we'll wait until that Lions team to debut our rookie quarterback. We don't need him to be swimming in the trenches of suck for his debut like some other quarterbacks have had to do, because if you get drafted to a team and you're a great quarterback, normally the team isn't going to be that great, which is fascinating because the Bears were not too far removed from being a great football team.
Yeah.
Now, will Justin Fields add the spark not only to the team and the locker room, to the coaches, but also the entire city to have faith like, hey, the Bears are going to be a team again. Aaron Rodgers is still in the NFC North, so it's going to be difficult for everybody, I assume. But Justin Fields, in this particular time, now being a starter, has to be good news for all Bears fans. You guys have been waiting on this, right?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, like you have been.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Dalton was your quarterback. You appreciate Andy Dalton.
Yeah, we love Andy. Get healthy, Andy.
Hey, we hope everything's okay with that bone bruise, Andy.
Yeah.
We're going to need
that
you.
bone out.
Hey, we're going to need you. It's going to be a long road.
Yeah.
But you guys have been waiting for this since the moment they traded away 2 future picks, 3 future picks to get this guy on the team.
It's Fields time, baby.
Justin Fields was very, very impressive at Ohio State. Will he be able to continue to be successful in the NFL? Is Matt Nagy the guy that should be guiding Justin Fields to success in the NFL? That is also TBD. Remember, Mitchell Trubisky was number 3 overall QBR in the year that they go all the way through the playoffs with Nagy. The next year, awful.
Stop. Yeah, 32.
Last year, awful. So is it the offense? Is it Nagy? Is it the quarterback? We have no idea. We'll see what Fields and the Chicago Bears can become.
It's too bad because, I feel like this is a tough game, too. Brownies, the Bears O-line isn't great, and they got, Clowney and Myles Garrett, so tough game for him. But also Nagy said that although he is starting, Andy Dalton's still the starter.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think Fields has to do?
Is that what Nagy actually said?
Oh, yeah, when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, Andy is the starter.
That's when he sent him back out. It's once Andy Dalton's healthy, he is the starter again.
Yeah, that was yesterday, though, right? That wasn't today. Today, just
nothing has said about Andy being a starter again.
Yeah, yesterday he came out and he said when Andy's healthy, he's the starter, because he was asked about who's the starter, and that was his only answer. Today it came out Justin Fields is the starter. So what's that mean? Andy Dalton isn't healthy.
Whoa.
And if Fields wins, though, if Fields wins,
they beat the Browns.
If he wins the next couple weeks, I don't know how long a bone bruise in your knee is going to take. That is very painful. I don't know how you could shoot it up. And by the way, just like Tua with his ribs, very painful. These things are very painful, okay? So this is something that happens, and I'm happy to hear that Tua situation. I'm not happy to hear that he has broken ribs, okay? But I'm happy that it isn't no injuries at all, and that made him miss games and get carted off the field, So it's kind of like a gift and a curse, that news. But these things are very painful. Justin Fields comes in and plays well and wins. There ain't going to be no way Nagy's going to be able to put Andy Dalton back out there. Chicago's going to lose their mind. The Browns are going to be tough, not just on defense, but Browns without Jarvis Landry. It feels like Odell Beckham Jr. is back. He put out a video basically like, hey, I'm back, or whatever. Yeah. Odell Beckham Jr. is back. They still got the backfield that's incredible. Offensive line's good. Austin Hooper's still there. This is going to be a tough game against Cleveland Browns. But if Justin Fields plays well, I think it's going to be difficult to get the city of Chicago to believe that they should put Andy Dalton back in, even though Andy Dalton played well. And we are Andy Dalton guys. It's just whenever you trade the future of the franchise to get a first-round quarterback, and you're a franchise that at one point in the offseason thought you were potentially going to get Russell Wilson, then you get Andy Dalton, and you've never really had your quarterback since like Jay Cutler almost. And even before that, long before that, everybody's excited to see how he's going to do. It's going to be a tough game, though.
Well, and to your point, with Nagy basically fighting for his job, if Fields comes out here and he starts slinging it and they do well, and Nagy thinks that, Fields is probably the best option for me, because if we do well with him, they'll probably keep me around, hopefully. So it's hard to imagine Dalton coming back.
I said that about this Nagy Pace situation. Literally, upon them trading future picks, it was like, okay, so ownership, Hallis, right? Is that Hallis?
Yeah. George?
Yeah. No, I don't think it. What's her name?
Victoria. No.
Oh, no.
That's McCluskey, isn't it?
The owner.
Yeah.
The owners.
The owners. And who? It was
JC.
Yeah, I know it's Hallett, but there's a late. It's not George.
McCaskey.
Virginia.
McCaskey.
Virginia McCaskey, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Virginia. So when the ownership must have told Nagy and Pace, like, hey, you're going to trade away future picks because if somebody comes in after this year, if they stink this year, GM, that GM's going to want to build their own team, right? Like, and maybe, listen, Justin Fields, hell of a football player. I guess we'll find out how great of an NFL player he is and everything like that. But that new GM is probably going to want to build the team in their vision. Like, hey, this is my vision. This is it. Now every GM that's going to go in there, if they do fire Nagy and Pace, is going to have to say, like, okay, Justin Fields is my quarterback. This is what I want to do around him. And immediately upon them allowing Nagy and Pace to trade those picks for it, I thought, oh, they must feel very comfortable that they have at least another year because rookie quarterback, can't really expect too much out of them.
Yeah.
So maybe they bought themselves another year with this thing, but at some point, Bears fans are going to start asking a lot of questions. And if Fields seems to be a glimmer of hope for them, you have to stick with him. But Nagy will go right out there and say, nah, I ain't playing him.
Yeah.
Nagy ain't
Andy's
scared
my
of it.
starter.
Nagy does not care about anything, it seems like.
And the owners might not care because they know, hey, we're going to be the Arlington Park Bears, in 3 years. So who gives a shit about the Chicago Bears because we'll be a whole different organization.
Only owner in the NFL that said, we don't want 17 games. We want to keep this thing at 16 games.
Yep.
We like the tradition. We like the old school. We don't want to be honest, we don't want to see more football.
Nope.
No.
We're good with just
care about
16
the players.
Yeah, player safety, players' health, obviously. But they were the only ownership group that said no to 17 games. I actually respect that, appreciate that, and also wonder, like, are they that invested in the team then? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Are they that invested, and is that why Nagy and Pace have been able to just run, kind of average for this long with a great team? I don't know. It's like the Packers. The Packers with no ownership,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is how Virginia is. I'm just saying, this could be a conversation that could happen if you see that they're the only people that do this. And Nagy and Pace, in a lot of places, especially the third largest city in America with one of the most storied franchises, like if things didn't seem to turn around, you would think that other teams would think like, hey, we gotta do something here. Like, hey, we gotta go. They're just, hey, traditional, patient, take their time, nothing to see here. We're probably moving to Arlington anyways in a couple years, 10 years or whatever. So let's just go ahead and keep winning football games enough to continue to sell this place out every week.
Yeah, maybe they told Virginia, like, hey, we're just gonna kick the can down the road with just like we do with the salary cap, and she didn't realize it doesn't work that way with draft picks, and you can't actually kick that can down any road.
I would say, though, that I appreciate the fact that if you think you can make your team better right now with a pick, trading a future pick, I am all on board with that.
Yeah.
I am all on board. Now, granted, if that doesn't work, you're going to get judged for it, but you'll be able to figure out how to get those picks back if you really wanted to. If you really want to get those picks back, you can. Now, I'm not saying that you'll be able to do it easily. You'll have to give up some players and give up some things to get those picks back, but I'm a big, hey, let's win now. I don't need to know what the 2024 first-round pick is going to do for me. I need to win right now. And that is obviously why I'll never be an actual GM, and because GMs have to have that zoomed-out thought. But whenever you're talking about the Chicago Bears, they obviously thought Justin Fields was a guy that could change the game for them, and they jeopardized the future now. They'll be able to get those picks back if they really want to in the future, but if they get somebody new in there, man, what are they going to think?
Mix up a lot. And, I mean, to your point, you might as well risk those picks on a quarterback versus anything else because Fields, by all accounts, does seem to be pretty damn good at football.
And we'll find out.
Yeah.
Listen, we will find out because odds tell us and stats tell us that 3 out of 4 of these guys that are starting right now are not going to be good.
Right.
Okay, and that's just what? What's that?
Zach Wilson, I think we don't have to look at the odds anymore.
Let's go.
Just throwing that out there.
Whoa.